Yeah, the screen is a little bit wet. So where do abon wa kai kwedwe? Hiritititititi. Where do abon wa? Thank you. So you can show that's the picture of my ancestors. They represent and greet you, all the people on the stream, in the name of my ancestors. That is my mom and a great-grand ancestor, Haiha, and a great-grandmother. So that's our Abohan, who has been before us. So I'm greeting you in their name. Yeah, you can see there the bow. That's a musical instrument, and those are also our ancestors. They have lived in the caves. It's very beautiful and very strong for me and the world today, how natural our people have lived. And it is the skin that they were wearing, the skin. And that's what they are having there. It's the skin. With the skin, they were living in the caves. And that's the skin that represents us as the people today. Yeah, so I'm greeting you in the name of the ancestors of the Nukhoen people. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Visolela. It's an honor for us to having your presence in the program tonight. We would love to know how are you? How is your people experiencing all this global situation there in Namibia? You know, because we have a global audience and they are very interested about what is happening around the world with our elders and with the people in different sides of the world.
Okay, for the audience, I am in Namibia, in Southern Africa. Namibia is not usually known by everybody, but when you say it is the neighbor of South Africa, then people say, waha. So we are neighboring South Africa in the south. In the north, we are neighbors with Angola. And in the east, we are neighbors with Botswana. And in the west, our neighbor is the Atlantic Ocean. Namibia, we are 2.5 million people. We have just celebrated our independence on 21st of March, our 30th independence. And on the 21st March, it was a celebration, but this is the first time that Namibians were not able to gather in a big group. So our independence celebration was under COVID-19. And so it was not really very big, but it was celebrated. We have a state of emergency at the moment. We are at level 2 with the COVID regulations. Level 1, we had a lockdown, and that was from April 27th, and it ended about a few weeks ago. Now in level 2, we have a mandatory mask. We have to be all the time under the mask. It's a bit and very difficult for me to be with the mask. It has been really, if I don't want to carry the mask, I am supposed to stay home. We have recorded 16 cases of COVID. Today, I am informed that we have our 18. So we are standing at 18 COVID cases registered with recoveries. Our first were people from Romania. That was what was said. So with that, our people have a real big problem, because with the state of emergency, alcohol is also prohibited. And Namibians have really been using a lot of alcohol. And so it is something that is positive. We have been in the lockdown, which also has made people to stay more closer at home than on the streets. Namibians are having a lot of nightlife, but this was not possible. So I think COVID really has made a change into our lives. And also so much so that people are fearful because of the many information that comes to them, and people are not all accepting the fear and believing in what is happening, and sometimes they lose themselves and really don't adhere. The officials, which are the police, have been reporting that they have arrested some people who have not kept to the law of the state of emergency. As Namibia also, many people are at the moment, because of the lockdown up till now, have suffered maybe a job loss here, non-payment on the other side, and also tension within the families. So that has happened. Yeah, I think with that, today we are sitting at Ascension Day. Namibians are a big Christian community, 99.5%, and the churches are also under lockdown. And so it is a very new thing for people to not attend and assemble in a church. And for them, a church is a building, so they have to go to their different churches. Namibia also is a secular state, so there is different religious bodies in the country. But people have tried a new way of going and worshiping. Those of us who have not been in the city were able to worship on the farms, all by ourselves as individuals. Yeah, and those in the cities at home, maybe with a possibility of having a WhatsApp group or prayers and verses sent, but we have not been able to assemble. And that is a very new thing. Socializing has not happened. Food security was at the challenge. I remember in these days, from April to now, May, we have a garden, so we were able to provide vegetables to communities. especially immediate community where the garden is, and then in the city, in the township where we are in Katutura, and also in Okahanja, which is also another town. So I think there is a big challenge with food security. There is a big challenge with work and activities that has come quiet. Yeah. So that's the situation in Namibia at the moment.
Thank you very much, Visolela. It's very important that the whole world we know about all the situations around the world. You know, because in some countries there is not also COVID. You know, this is some countries are malaria, or the people are dying because hunger. You know, and so it's very important that we all, mainly Western societies, be aware about what's going on around the world. And thank you very much to bringing this word. I would love to ask you a question, because you are a woman coming from a tradition from Africa, and we know our human species, we are coming from Africa. Our origins are in Africa. You are a great defender of the traditions with your people, of Nukhoen people. So I would love to ask a question of you about why do we have to preserve the traditions? And what could we do as Western societies to rescue our traditions?
Yeah, why should we push or bring our traditions up front? Many reasons, but one of the important reasons, and I just want to say, we know that you are, Jovia, from Africa. Your DNA is here in Africa. Also, I think the reason why we have to do this is because of the very invasion that happened in the early life of our people. Our ancestors have been having a very important traditional practices, and they were very much connected to the one and only place that they lived on, which is Mother Earth. And also they will embrace the whole environment. And not only the environment, but the whole animal kingdom. They related to the water. They related to the sun energy. Tomorrow night is full moon. And I imagine how conscious our ancestors were about the moon and the water. I was just saying we are neighbors to the Atlantic Ocean, and we know that there is a big relationship between the moon and the water. And that is something that has been very important for our people. And as a result, our people were carrying out rituals. They were celebrating, and they were having ceremonies. But when the invasion came, especially in Namibia, we have experienced colonialism from the German in the first place, and then South Africa. That was the apartheid government. And people were baptized, introduced to religion. They didn't have religion, they didn't know it, but they were given religion as their last resort. And they were told that they should never, ever practice their ceremonies, their rituals, because it was referred to as pagan, as demonic, and they were alienated from that. And as a result, over the years, they were alienated from themselves. never loved themselves being the coconut people, being the Nukhoen people. They also were informed to change their name, impacting on their identity, and as a result, accept different names. And the different names was Christian names because they were rebaptized. They knew about Chukwab. They knew about the rain gods. They knew about Damara, that is the rain god. And they knew to be thankful to each and every little thing living on Mother Earth. Thankful that they could have food, thankful that they could have rain, thankful that they could have community, and very thankful that they could move freely on the Mother Earth spaces. That was what was theirs, but those all was removed. And as a result, for many, many years, our people became very afraid to practice their tradition and their culture. They were able not to, up till this day, many of our Nukhoen people are speaking in English in their family home and not in the mother tongue. Also, they are afraid to play the drum because they were told it's not good. They are afraid to use their medicine, the medicine to heal themselves, and they have deep, deep knowledge about the medicine. This medicine that I'm holding here is a very sacred medicine. I have many different types of medicine, but our people will not dare tell you how this can help you. Tonight I can say to you, for example, this was used when you have chest problems, when you cough, when your chest is painful. Then they would smoke you. You are calling it sauna, sweat lodge. But our people would soak you with this and make you drink this. They are afraid to use that. This is another medicine that is used. It's called the elephant dung. When you have painful feet, discomfort with your legs, that's what you put in the water. But they don't use those any longer. When they use that, they accuse each other. And that is also what has been done. They will accuse each other of witchcraft instead, as if they never knew. Our people have forgotten how to use the food. This is a type of food that we find in the forest. It is a nut. Now today, what is the ingredients of a nut? It provides protein, it provides vitamins. This could be eaten freely in the forest. So because all of these are lost and many others, it is important that we come back, recognize ourselves, acknowledge our abilities. Like one of the main things is a massage. You call it a massage. We call it kuri. And you kuri the person. When the body is painful, when you are expecting a baby, when you have been injured, when you fall and you have hurt your ankle or your finger, you had to go through being quried from little newborn. When your mother is expecting you, your mother would go through quri, you call it massage. Massage sounds a little bit very romantic. Quri is healing you from head to toe. It is bringing calamity to you. And that's why it's important that we cannot part with this one. We have to get back to our roots. We have to come back to acknowledge. The other thing why it's important is the animals. When they were hunting the animal, they would only hunt one animal per time. And they select which one, not a pregnant animal, should be hunted down. Not a young animal or antelope should be hunted down. The elderly ones. And once that animal is hunted down, there was a lot of things that was done with it. They would work with it, they would create things like this with that animal. And this is called hapke. Then they would do things like this. This is a string so that you can tie the milk abasa, the calabash. They tie so that we can work the milk on the tree. And then we have fat, komasam, and that is used to massage. In this one, they put it in here and it stays, and you massage the baby and everybody. It smells very beautifully. So all this to protect that animal was done, and it was used. You eat the meat and all that comes from that animal. So it was also important for preservation of the animals. It is very important. And today, our great-grandchildren and us, myself and my grandchildren, are able to meet those animals. And every animal was regarded as sacred, and they had stories about them. The children were told stories, they knew about the animals. The children were able to sing the songs like the giraffe. You sing a song, Araran Ngai, Araran Ngai, Mama sa kame titara, ngomko, ue. So the giraffe has a story. The giraffe's mother was hunted down by very naughty people. And so the baby giraffe was crying out. And it was saying, a crying giraffe, arara, ara. My mother has been killed, and I am just walking on the edge. And through that song, the other giraffes heard the baby giraffe and saved the baby giraffe. So stories from the animals were coming out, and these were done around the fire. And it is again a social gathering. The fire is another strong element of us. So because of all this, and because of also building our principles, because within the culture, we have been giving teachings how to respect yourself, how to respect each other. Actually, we were told not to talk in the mouth of the elders. And we were given education through initiation of young boys and young girls so that we get information about puberty and also about the whole life cycle. So our roots, when we are not able to go back to them, when we don't know them, we will not have the full life cycle. From birth, there is rituals until death. When you become a young girl, a young boy, there is a ritual for you. If you want to get married, there is a ritual for you. When you are sick, there is a ritual for you. When you are born, there is a ritual for you, a ceremony. When you die, there is a ritual for you. There will be mourning and there will be healing for the family. The question of fighting for inheritance today, how people have become selfish and self-centered and greedy, it's because we have lost our culture. After the death, with that inheritance, it was beautifully done. Nobody was coming to grab anything away from you. The children were peacefully divided among
Los jóvenes eran obviamente cuidados de manera por los familiares, de manera muy pacífica, y la propiedad, si había propiedad, nunca era o sea, destruida. El fuego tenía que seguir para quemar la casa. Si la madre había muerto o el padre había muerto. Y lo que restaba con los chicos tenían que tener un soporte para quedar con este fuego, para que la energía que se quede, para que el viento no destruyera la casa. Entonces, había una ceremonia para lavar eso justo en la mañana, justo después del enterramiento, y ahí había una cabra. Se sacrificaba una cabra y no se podía comer, o sea, los huesos, y ahí se cubría, después se cubría en la piel de esta cabra en tu cuerpo. Entonces, en el tiempo del nacimiento hasta el tiempo de la muerte había una. Y ellos son las razones por qué nosotros tenemos
our roots. Another important thing is it creates, as long as you are connected to your culture and to your tradition and not harmful cultural practices. I mean, and I'm putting my emphasis, not harmful practices. You have confidence of self. You have self-love. And because you have self-love and you understand your medicine, you understand your rituals, you can reach out without insecurity to all of you, the people of the world. You can love, you can become strong, you can become whatever you want, you can protect also, and you can preserve because you are then a cultured person. So it is very important that what we have lost, we need to win back. We need to come back to our roots. We need to allow our children that are born to be born within a protected environment. As much as there is modernity, there needs to be a blending. We need to blend these two so that our children can be given their names after they have been born, after 3 months, so that our children can be given their ores. It's a bead that is put around the neck for them to protect them and build their immune system, to protect them against all diseases. They will carry the ores in their neck, so that our boys can be given their one earring, because there is meaning in that, so that we can go back and without fear use the medicine that provides healing, so that we can reduce the drug and alcohol abuse that our people are suffering, because we can take them into the healing spaces where they can be home out, where you can call it the sweat lodge, but where you go back and you find yourself, you know, your skin is peeling off in a very peaceful, soft manner, like you're shredding like the snake, so that you become new. And this can only happen if we come back to our roots. They are not scary. We have been misled. So that we are able to talk to our ancestors. We still visit the grave sites. I showed you a picture of the gravesite. That is the gravesite of my great-great-grandfather. I still go there. I still introduce my children and my grandchildren to them. You need to do that. You need to visit. You need to tell them, I am caught up in trouble. Can you come and help? Can you intervene? So that we can connect and feel that nurturing from them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rosa. We are constantly reflecting upon that many of us, especially many of us who live in Western societies, we're also orphans of our own traditions. Many similarities as to what you mentioned about how, you know, we're not playing the drum because they told us that we couldn't play it, or it wasn't good to play it, or not to use the medicine because it wasn't real medicine. So for many of us in these in modern industrialized cultures, it's really challenging for us to go back to our roots and connect to that, because where do we even come from? So I wanted to ask you, perhaps what can the Damara Nation teach Western society as to how does Western society connect to their roots when for many years, centuries even, we have no tradition?
I know it is also something that I can add is the shame. There is shame put to that. And there is so much the Western or modern values being indoctrinated into us, so that we don't see the other side of our being. And what can we teach each other? How can we reduce the shame that we are carrying and find the braveness and find the openness and the willingness to embrace what has been said? It's a bad omen. What can we do? I think it is becoming conscious. It is finding a deep, because every one of us always want to ask, where am I coming from? Who am I? Again, that's also connected to shame. Most of the times, we don't want to know if I am a little bit light, in the modern world, the best looks are light skin color and long hair and a very furnished house, double story, those are the values, and lots of money and big cars. And then having all that leave us in the modern with an emptiness that you cannot explain because you don't have identity. You don't have the lineage. And that creates unhappiness, anxiety, illness. And at one point, you need to go back to that place that can help you fill that gap. And that is our cultures, our backgrounds. It is very beautiful with us in the Nukhoen community. What we do is, as a reminder, there are certain food types that needs to be eaten. But some people would say, oh, no, I don't eat that donkey meat. No, I don't eat berries any longer. Oh, no, I don't drink maho. So they want to be this. It is always something that we like to do. We like to eat the goat head. We like to eat the donkey meat. We like to eat the berries and hayran. We like to go back to that. But it is not done regularly because, as we said, it has been removed from our lives. So what we do is we have small groups that reminds us of our background. We have cultural groups. We have the old location women, for example, that does the old historical things. It's only that the place where I'm sitting now is very low. You'd have seen all the artifacts that I have put out here in this house of mine, where most of the things that reminds us of our background and our culture is here. So we have exhibitions like this, and we have the fire still, mostly in the rural area. We have not been given that opportunity of having the luxury of electricity and of running water. So we use the fire, and that plays a big role during the evening to talk about who we are, how our elders were doing things, and also by singing and by dancing, and continuously, of course, burials have also become very commercialized and very modernized. But we try to bring in the burial ways of our people. So by doing this, and by having wisdom keepers, by having people who have found themselves and don't shy away of who they are, is important. So the wisdom keepers, the guardians of Mother Earth and of the cultures, are mostly women. So those conscious women who has the consciousness and the light of the ancestral spirit, they are coming together. And they do the rituals. And I have seen, as you listen to me, how it brings the interest back, how it stops you in your footsteps to remind you that once upon a time my mom or my grandmother did this. There is a very key powder I want to show you. This powder is a powder that we use, we call it sai. It is a powder that is sai. This powder smells very differently. You just use it into your body, and you use it as the young women or the elderly women it's like the white powder that people are using in the shops and pharmacies. It's sold, but this is sa. And when you have this powder and the people smell, they say, you remind me of my great-grandmother. The powder, you smell like my grandmother. So those are the things that we who are not shying away are using to call back our people. And that is what we need to do. We need to teach you without fear our culture. We need to speak boldly about that. I need to say, in my mother tongue. I need to say, when you want to degrade me, I need to explain, I need to have the ability to explain you what does it mean to be this person, the black person, the Nukhoen person. And I need to celebrate with you. Of course, you can help me. We need to help each other to do the modern, but I need to celebrate with you my culture. And we need to practice. If it is full moon, like tomorrow, I need to enter the full moon to get strengthened in my energetic field. And what is it that I do? It's to spend time under the shining full moon. That's what the elders were doing, to lie down and watch the stars together with the moon. And somebody would say, and then I talk to the moon. You must be crazy. No, you explain and say it's a beautiful feeling. Just try it yourself, or can I invite you so that you do it again and do it again? Because also in the modern world, the television is constantly on, indoctrinating you again, so that in your DNA no longer flows the love for nature, no longer flows a need for a ritual, because you are indoctrinated again and again. And that's what we need to do, to talk to you again and again. When the first rains come, like the rain has done, it's done, and we know when the first rains will come, you need to celebrate the first rain. You need to embrace the rains, and you need to call the rain gods and thank them. We call them kaidus. And therefore you need to dance to the rains. But we run away. Our people would say, the elders were saying, be quiet and don't use the needles. Don't use the mirror cover, so that the connection with you and the lightning is not so strong, because the rain gods are going to speak. And if you don't protect yourself and respect the rain, they will come and they will hit you. And they were talking about the lightning. So we need to do those things, yeah? It's very important to interact. And again, through this, we teach our little children. And their curiosity makes you to feel confident, because they, the little ones, are not so judgmental. And you, the presenter of the culture, is actually made by the nature of our culture. You are made very soft, you are made very firm, very strong again, and you are made to be very honest, because you cannot twist a practice that was done by the ancestors. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us the importance of ritual and how your nation has been able to keep that alive from the connection to the ancestors. You also mentioned very briefly about the role of the woman within the tradition. Would you like to give us perhaps a little bit more insight as what is the role of the woman within the tradition and also within the society?
Oh yes, oh yes, that's a very important question and a very profound experience. In the Nukhoen culture, what I have seen is the women coming out very strong, the women coming out very, very strong in protecting the culture. I have learned through the practice of the women what the culture means. One thing when I opened my eyes, and we are still arguing, is this kind of dressing. If it was not my great-grandmother, my grandmother, her sisters, and my mother, you have seen the dress up of my mother, you have seen the dress up of that great-grandmother there on the picture. This is my duk cape. It has a name. It's called cape. And this is roquesque. This is called karap, and iras. They were dressing like this. I have never known them dressing like you, Carolina, in the modern clothes. I have always seen them in these dresses. And I wanted to know why, you know, and they were saying after they have been robbed from the skin, because they were only dressing in the skin olden days, they have worked for the German communities that colonized them. And then they brought in the cotton. And they were in the beginning resisting that. But then the cotton material was given to them to make dresses for the lady of the house, the white lady. And then after pieces were left, they would make dresses for them like this. That was the pieces. They would take these cuts and they put them together. And they would make their dress. So they became designers of their own. So the ladies of the house, the white women then, were looking for Victorian dresses, but they would make their own design. And there is a distinct design in it's an elbow dress. The dress is an elbow. exposed when you are working in the fire or you go in the forest, this dress has helped. So also on the head, the headgear. When I was making my headgear, you saw I had two. The one is underneath. So if there's trouble, you use this one on top. Maybe you must put the baby at the back, or you gave birth, or you need to use that. And so this dress became something that was a mark or an identity, I must say, for the women. And it is dressed today by all or most of our women. And that is now our Damara Nukhoen outfit. It has a short one, it has a long one. So women hold on to that. The other important thing is women's role is in the house to inform and educate her children. Our women are doing the rituals. Then at the healing fire, for example, they are the ones that keeps the energy of the songs, the energy of the chant. They are the connectors to the ancestors. They are the ones that helps the healers when they are at the healing fire to do the healing process. They are the pharmacists. They know our medicine. I'm really, when I speak about this whole question of women's empowerment, this question of ensuring knowledge transfer, I'm amazed by the knowledge of these women. You know, like a pharmacist, when you go into a pharmacy, you find the certificate of the pharmacist being written there on the wall. These women don't have a certificate, but they will tell you in one breath about 10 different kinds of herbal medicine. And they are the doctors themselves. They will take those medicine and treat you. Although people would say it is not acceptable yet to treat somebody with a medicine that is not patent and that is not tested. But they have held that tradition for so long, so that me even knows about it. Even my granddaughter knows about it. So in that way, they have been holding the culture and protecting it. Also, up till this day, we are having traditional marriages, and our women are the ones sitting in to ask for the hand of the wife, because it is a whole ceremony that needs to be done. Or when there is death, it is the women that will come and sit around that house, take care of the fire, take care of the widow or the widower, ensure that this new mother, lactating mother, who has maybe lost her newborn, is strengthened, is protected. And they do it with the tradition that has existed. So I think we can see that women have played that big role. Even when there are questions asked, what are the things that you, Damara Nukhoen, are doing? The speakers are mostly women, unless it is a student of traditions and culture or a scholar, which is mostly a male. We also are asking usually, what were the men doing? And so the women will tell, oh no, the men have gone to hunt. They would have their bow and arrow, and they would go out in the night. And the men will also be the ones that will sit and share their story, but the women would be the ones who hold the memory of their story. So for me, women have been the ones protecting the culture and also continuing being the conduits. They are the holders. They hold the space and they hold the knowledge. And I think they add to the men the rhythm, and they add to the men the implementation. So our women, our mothers have been really a big help in protecting and preserving the culture for the generations to come. And I think something very interesting is rather happening, where nobody is schooled into a class, but you are schooled into the environment because it is from generations to generations, a pass on. And you can make it better to go to school, to university, to learn about it, but maybe you have to have the preschooling from your grandmother and your mother. So the women really have played that big role where they have been having the opportunity, I must say, and the privilege to be part of this beautiful process and really practicing it as well. Women have been practicing this. I mean, if you can remember from a young baby to me being this big now, about several activities that was done, I think the role of women is just not unforgettable, I must say. And I think they are bringing it in such a way that you don't get frightened away, you don't create fear around it. Also, you don't, in the olden days, they would say, don't ask me questions. But I think now, when they practice and you ask them, why do you do this? They explain. So the mothers over the generations, like to my age now, has also came to receive much more better understanding around what is our culture, and therefore has more better ways of explaining it, I think. And they are also very willing to, if it is harmful, if it is very much negatively impacting, they are willing to sit together and follow the rules of the land, the current rules of the land, for example, like the Constitution. And if they are told not to practice harmful culture, they will listen to it. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Visolela. We are so impressed about all the wisdom and everything that we have to learn from Africa, from Namibia. Thank you for bringing the wisdom about how to, we have to come back to our roots. We have to listen our woman, that they carry the medicine, they carry the wisdom, the stories. And we are in an hour and 10 minutes right now. We are concluding the program, and for sure we could be the whole night speaking with you. We know that it's midnight for you too, so we don't want to take much time from you. So this is a pleasure to having you here. It was a honor. We would love to ask you the last question. The last question is like, if you would love to share a message to humanity right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My message to humanity, my message to the sisters and brothers of the universe. I am privileged tonight to be able to speak to you, but I am also humbling myself to Mother Earth, that is our provider. I mean, such a beautiful provider that gives us so much. And therefore, I want to put Mother Earth in an example of a woman, and it is the English language, I can't call that word, but it is where somebody would, I can only explain, and I want to hold it so that you can see, because I don't know its name in English, and so let me pick it up so that you can get the name by yourself. Yeah, this is a very important piece. You know, it looks like this. Are you recognizing it, Javier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it would be like this, like this. Yeah. It is I don't know it in English. House where the baby it's the holder of the woman, and all of us.
The hip.
You know, the bone of the back, and then it comes for the women. It is like a holder, you know.
The hip bone.
The hip bone, but it's very important one. And we are the people. This is a very important, and it is like Mother Earth, the globe. In the body is one of the strongest bones that is holding you. And for the women, it is holding us even when we are pregnant. And this oozes out life. It brings life. It offers life. It gives life, like Mother Earth. And therefore, when it gives us life without conditions, it gives us life without prescription, Mother Earth. It really offers love and beauty. When we look at it, it gives us water in abundance. Only people control that water that is freely given by Mother Earth. So I want us to remember that there is this strong bone that is called the universe, that provides and provides unconditionally. So now, as I'm concluding my evening, how do you become grateful to something that is given to you without condition? And the only way you can be grateful is to follow that example. When there's outpouring of life, you should outpour yourself in life. When there's so much outpouring from Mother Earth of food, you should be able to pour out. When you receive that food, you pour it further. When Mother Earth gives you water, you share it. And many, many things. It's so many that she gives. She gives, you know, I look at the flowers that she gives, different colors. Oh, so beautiful, different colors, different shapes. Oh, when you look and close your eyes and you see all the white and the pink and the yellow and the green flowers, and you see all these beautiful animals, you are only left with admiration. You are only left with falling in love, you know, with the human beings, people like Javier, Carolina, many other people who are listening now. You are an outpour of Mother Earth. So they are very beautiful. I just want us to fall in love. You know, you see, there's a book behind me, an all and the globe, Mother Earth, and an apple there. And you know, you need to look at this and just fall in love. Oh, pelvis. Oh, thank you so, so much. That's the pelvis, the holder of life. So let's go back to our beds or to our work tonight and today to remember that we are the people that has come from the pelvis, the depth. You know, I admire divers who goes to the depth of our sea water, of our oceans. That's where you really see how beautiful this pelvis is. And so when we want to forget, remember that is our pillars. And it is there where we do our expression. And when we do our expression, our gratitude can only be in song and sound and music. And at this moment, I want to give you my part of the gratitude. And so I want to sing to you. But I want to bow down to the love that you have in the different countries. I have seen that love being poured out in Peru, Mexico. I cannot call the Latin Americas. I have seen it in the Africas. I've seen it in the Europes. I've seen the people of the pelvis coming to life. And so therefore, my gratitude tonight to you for keeping that little spot that you belong to the people from the pelvis. So, oh, koi kun ke kuma, ai kuma kai kun awane, ai uwe, oh uwe, ai uwe, ana tonde se, ana tonde, ai uwe, ai uwe. Aye, uwe, oh, batere, tiwa, uri, koto, tiwa, oh, batere, tiwa, uri, koto, tiwa, koma, sai, oh, hi, Wesi, that's what you say. Oh, hi. Wesi. Rititititititi. Kai kan skais aroma. Kai sitakira tri. Saduka. Thank you very much for listening to me. I am very much honored to be with you on this show tonight to talk about my culture. I feel you, I can touch you, and you can touch me. I feel you. And I sent you with the story from the fire. Sleep in peace. Good night.
Amazing, Visolela. Thank you very much. It was an amazing program the night of today, and we hope that you will love to come back for the next program that we have, because we have more things to talk with you and to bring all this wisdom for humanity, for all the other territories. And thank you very much. Thank you to all the attendees, all the audience that we have tonight. Thank you to Carolina. Thank you for Enrique. That Carolina is in Peru right now, and Enrique is in Brazil. Is our traductor the night of today. And see you next week, family, global family. See you next week. And next week we will move to another territory, to another continent. We will have here the Lakota Nation. Gonna be
Wow.
We receive Lee Plenty Wolf, is a spiritual leader from Oglala Lakota Nation. So we're moving to the continent, and we will receive the wisdom about how to be living in prayer too. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Be aware of everything. Thank you, Visolela. Thank you for everything.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Next time, there might not be a COVID, so we might meet face to face. And I'm looking forward to that, to meet the family of the globe, of Mother Earth, face to face.
I hope.
You're welcome to invite me again.
Thank you so much. May it be so, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Visolela. This is so beautiful to have you, and you're such a gift. Thank you so much. So many blessings to all the family who has tuned in with us, and thank you for all of them, for all of our attendees on the Zoom and all the attendees on.
I hope the Namibians have tuned in. I have given them information, so I hope they have tuned in. So I'm greeting you, Kainwes. Tapete tu takira, Kainwes. Goeienacht, slaap julle lekker.
Beautiful. I do hope so too. And the great thing, just so everyone knows while we're still live, this video will stay on our page here on Facebook and will also be uploaded to YouTube so it can be shareable. So if you missed the broadcast from the very beginning, you can still watch it later at any point in time. Thank you for creating this moment with us. Rosa, thank you so, so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Global family, we are signing off from the live.
Yeah.
Till next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye.
Yeah, good night.